Welcome back to Tarot by the Bay. I'm David. It is Wednesday evening, March 1st, and I am curious. I was looking at the news or listening to the news today, as the case may be, and the discussion was about the Supreme Court taking up the case of debt forgiveness for those incurring college debt. And I believe this is nostalgia is popping up there. This is looking at forgiving debts of like $10,000 or $20,000 to people who took out student loans, and this would impact something like 40 million Americans. This is not a small program by any stretch. And the question I have is, will the Supreme Court uphold the Biden choice or order to go ahead under the HEROES Act to do some loan forgiveness, or will they reject that and say that Biden can't do that? So will the Supreme Court support or reject that student loan forgiveness? Well, we get the judgment card, and we get the Four of Swords. That tells me that they are going to reject, they're going to make a pause. Now, it could be that they say that if they break it down into parts, that one of the parts is okay, but three other parts are not okay. Or maybe three parts are okay and one part's not okay, but it looks like it's going to be rejected, I'm sorry to say. In the past, it's the Ace of Wands. There was a big push forward that this was a good idea. We should go forward with this and let's see what happens with it. But now you've got dark money discussing it. This isn't necessarily this could be the justices and the people that hold financial influence over them. But I think this is a case of wealthy people not wanting to pay for an education for less wealthy people. That's how I look at that. We have the Magician. So overarching it, this is something that they don't want to have manifested. This would be a great boon for a lot of people. And $10,000 for somebody with student debt or $20,000 student debt, what a huge break. That money means a lot to them. That is life-changing. But they don't want it. It's the end of it. It was a good chance there was a good shot at trying to manifest this, but overall it's going to be killed. It's just going to be killed because people don't want it. So then on the outcome, we have Joe Biden again, or what some some tarot readers have the King of Cups as Joe Biden. It's a great card for him. So what's the outcome? It goes back to Biden. And what's he going to do? Well, underneath it, there's the moon. There's still secrets. There's still hidden agendas underneath it. So they're going to kick this one back to the president. They're going to say, nope, can't do that. Sorry. I believe some of the arguments are that the person bringing the suit doesn't have standing, or Biden can't do that under the HEROES Act, or the program's too big for what the HEROES Act allotted for it. They come up with all sorts of reasons, but it does not look like it's going to go through this time. I would be happy to be wrong on that. Now, full disclosure, I went to college. I went to college back in a day when college was affordable. I paid for my college. I paid for my college and dorms. I was working as a grocery store checker. And back then, grocery store checkers made bank. Anybody who's my vintage understands what I'm talking about. If minimum wage was $3.50 an hour, and you had a college job that paid $5 to $6 an hour, you're doing pretty well. I was making $13, and time and a half on Sundays. So I could work on the weekends in college, and I could pay for my tuition. I could pay for my books. I could pay for the dorms when I was living in there. And then I sometimes lived with my folks, and I'd be working 32 to 40 hours a week in the summer, and really, rolling in the do-re-mi, as it were. So it worked for me. Students can't do that now. They just physically cannot make enough money, and you got to help them out. This is having somebody get a bachelor's degree and have crushing debt. It doesn't help our society at all. And yeah, I didn't take out student loans. I don't begrudge helping people who need that help. Sorry. Some people I didn't take it out. Why didn't I get a benefit for that? Well, it's because we're trying to make this society better. Maybe it wouldn't have been nice if they had that program available back when you were in school. Wish it was, but we got to. If you keep going down that path, you never start. So we got to start somewhere. Tip your hat to the people who made it on their own. Feel a little empathy for the folks that struggled and paid off their bills and managed, but help those who you can. Right? Hermit Cardis wants to pop up and say, go looking for help. Go looking to help people out. Be the change that you want to see in the world. Okay, so I had some questions written down. Okay, so if this is now going back to Biden, will this go to Congress and will Congress pass it? I don't think I really need to throw much on this one because I think I know the answer, but let's do a quick one. Okay, nostalgia. Will Congress pass this one? Strength, Nine of Wands, and the Hierophant. Okay, so, and then the Justice card underneath it. Okay, so I think what's happening is the Justice card is the Supreme Court kicking it back to Congress. And, Congress needs to resolve this like they used to be able to in the good old days through debate and compromise and stuff like that. But central under that reading is the Nine of Wands. Congress has so many things going on, and they're not a united front by any stretch of the imagination. You've got the majority in the House that's more interested in the president's son's laptop hard drive that is not involved in politics. They were interested in Benghazi investigations. And they're not interested in looking at the college and doing something to help those involved in college. I think they would fall back to, we didn't have it before, we don't need it now. So if they kick it back to Congress, what's Congress going to do? I think it's going to be a whole lot of nothing. I think there's going to be some sympathy in there, but there's just, it's not going to get through. There's too many other things that they've got going on that are sucking all the energy and all the oxygen out of the room that it won't fly. Now, if Congress can go back to how they negotiated back in the days of my youth or before, build up a coalition on both sides of the party to say, hey, this helps Republican constituents and Democratic constituents, well, then they pass it, and that's something to put a feather in your cap for anybody who's running for re-election. Now I have to eliminate some of your student loan debt. We found it was too crushing, and you need a little bit of a helping hand. That's got to be worth a young person's vote. If you vote against it, well, that young person might remember that and might go out of their way to not support you going forward. Okay, so now, next question is, do we have to wait till 2024, 2025 for this to be revisited successfully? Do we have to wait till a new Congress is in place? Assuming that the Supreme Court kicks us back to Biden, they try and go through Congress and it doesn't go through Congress. Do we have to have a new Congress seated in order for this to get passed? Okay, there's the Emperor. So there's going to be somebody large and in charge to drive this. We have the High Priestess. We've got a couple of major arcana, things happening quickly, and it's a burden. And then underneath is the Justice card. Okay, so this could be one of two things. If this is waiting until 2024 and beyond, this could be the president trying it again to go through the HEROES Act or a different act, or this could be somebody who, if the Democrats, for instance, have a stronger majority in Congress, they might be able to work quickly to reduce the burden of people. And you've got the queen of not queen, excuse me, the high priestess. The high priestess is about wisdom and secrets told. But I think in this case, this could also be the compromise, the behind the scenes compromise to alleviate the burden of people. Really truly going back to the days of old backroom deals and compromises that, if you vote for this, we'll help your constituents out with that type of thing. So 2024 and beyond, I like the thoughts. I like the probability of it better than I do with the current situation. But I'm okay being wrong if it happens sooner rather than later. Okay, so that's my thoughts on debt forgiveness, the Supreme Court, and what might happen following that. Okay, if you like this video, give it a share, give it a thumbs up. Write me a comment if you have a different interpretation of it. If you have any other questions that you'd like me to visit, throw them in the comment section. I do read them. All right, have a great night. Bye-bye.